Welcome back everyone to the recap of round number 4 of the European Chess Championship. Today was a tough game for me, so let's jump right into it. I played against the very experienced and of course very strong Grandmaster Sargissian Gabriel from Armenia, who I think has been a gold medalist at Olympiad. He won medals at European Championships left and right, so he's very experienced and a very strong technical player overall. In this game, he played 1c4, so in general he goes either d4, c4, knight f3, very rarely or almost never plays e4. And I went for e6, g3, d5, so we got, with kind of a move order, we got the Catalan. The move order he chose does allow black to go for d takes e4, which is a bit of a different line than in the Catalan, and also the big option, which is d4 here right away, but I didn't want to go for that today. I played the classical line with bishop e7, and now he transposed back to the Catalan with d4. Other option is b3 to go for this sort of double fianchetto, which I also play with the white pieces. And recently this move d3 has also emerged, but yeah, he didn't go for that today. I also don't think it's such a great idea, this move d3. He did play in the first round this move c takes d5, e takes d5, and now b3, which, yeah, to my surprise has been also popularized recently. The idea is just not really to get an advantage, but just a game, and white will continue with bishop b2 and then d3, knight d2, and will play for e4. But in general, black is also very much okay here. So he played d4, and now I chose this line with a5, which has gotten quite popular. Also Magnus played it quite frequently, and the idea is in general just to gain some space on the queen side, and in general, even if black goes c6 as I did later in the game, this extra space on the queen side will come in quite handy. He played queen c2, which is in my opinion the critical move. White also has other options like b3, like knight c3. After knight c3, the whole point is to go c6, which is also not the only option. Black has other options as well. But now black plays c6 and argues that in this sort of closed Catalan, the knight is already on c3, which he doesn't always want to go to. And now d takes c4 actually is quite a big threat. There are ideas like knight d2 is the main move, and now I think b5 is the best way for black to equalize. And somewhere here I think there's queen b6, bishop a6, knight c6 coming, and black is overall quite active. But he went for queen c2, and now I played the move a4, which I briefly checked in the morning. I saw that Magnus played it quite recently, I think against Vidit. It is quite a rare move overall. Knight c6 is what people do here. c6 here would not be that sensible, because now white can go knight bd2 and then followed by e4, which is kind of the typical way to approach the Catalan, this sort of position with white. And yeah, here this move a5 probably doesn't fit into the position quite well. Also b5 here probably doesn't do that much. White can simply go c5 and then e4 on the next move. This is kind of the dream for white in those positions. So I went for a4, knight c6 is the main move, just to clarify that, when now a3 is what white does. And I think that black takes here right away, queen c4 and then a4 and goes for something like bishop d7, knight a5. This is kind of how black plays this position, and then later on the bishop can come in via c6, also knight b3 is there, sometimes black can go c5, so this is quite an interesting line for black as well. But I wanted to surprise him with a4, which seemingly worked, because he went a3. I remember that probably the critical move is to go rook d1, and now I think my idea was to go knight c6 here, when kind of the trick is that here white cannot go a3 as well, because I think there are some ideas with immediate knight a5, and this doesn't work in the other line for some reason, because if I go knight c6, a3, a4 here, I think white is in time to take this pawn somehow, because I think here dc4 right away is supposed to be the move. So there are some move order details here. So he went a3, which looks very logical, and now I went c6. So now I'm not going for this line with knight c6, but with c6. And now, funny enough, after bishop f4, we got a very similar position to the closed Catalan with bishop b4. So let's just go there just to show that. There's also this line with bishop b4 check and then go back. And recently black has started playing something like this with a5, so something like this here. And this has also gotten quite popular, and now in the game we got the same position with a3 and a4, but usually white wouldn't go wouldn't move this pawn anyway. So during the game, I thought that I have quite a good version, perhaps. But he went knight d2, and after that I was really starting to feel happy. I thought that knight c3 should be the critical move. This is quite a common way for white to play, and after d takes c4 I was a bit afraid of him going e4 when I am a pawn up, but my pawns on the queen side are not moving that fast, and he does have this nice center, and I thought that he has quite natural play with rook d1, rook e1, perhaps knight e5 at some point to come. And I wasn't quite sure yet what I would do here. The move c5 is generally what you want to do, is to play in the center, immediately release the tension and fight white's huge center. But in this concrete position, I wasn't sure about d5 takes, and now e takes d5. Even e5 perhaps could be one idea as well. But yeah, I wasn't quite sure here what to do about the threat of d6. Maybe I can go knight b6, but then there's d6, takes, and rook d1. Doesn't look quite nice for black here. So I still had to figure out what to do after knight c3. But he went knight d2, which I was happy to see. Now the move knight h5, which is kind of the typical reply here, because then the bishop has to go to this square in e3 where it's not placed as well. By the way, knight h5 right away doesn't work as well, because then you can take on b8 and take on a4. That's why I have to go knight d7 first. So I went knight h5, bishop e3, and knight f6 back. I also thought, I thought here for quite some time, I thought that f5 might be quite an interesting way as well. That's why I spent some time here, just to play for this type of stone wall. And now white's pieces are also quite awkwardly placed, but I also wasn't sure how dangerous my initiative is. I was calculating rook d1, and now f4 wasn't something I was that sure about, because after e3, now my rook has to go back, and then my bishop on c8 is kind of a long-term issue, and the pawn on e6 could be weak as well. So I wasn't sure about that. I was mostly thinking about g5 here, and then after knight f1, f4, bishop d2, I was trying to evaluate that position. Probably this is playable as well, and maybe would have been a nice choice as well, but I just wasn't sure about this position at all. So I went for the more solid knight f6, just going back. He went h3, so he didn't go for the repetition here. h3, just avoiding knight g4, since if he goes something like rook d1 first, then I thought I have the option to go knight g4, and I'll get this bishop, because bishop f4 I thought fails due to g5. So he went h3, b6, I thought a very natural way to just develop the bishop. Rook c1, bishop b7, rook d1, and c5, also quite logical. I was also thinking about other moves, like even a move like rook a7 I was thinking about, then followed by queen a8. But c5 seemed quite natural after all. He went knight e5, and now queen c8. Not the only move, I was also thinking about moves like c takes d4. In general, the position is very equalish here, and it's more about choosing which way to go. Black has many options, which was maybe also the problem, because usually when you have many nice options, you tend to spend more time to try and decide for something. I like this move queen c8 just to defend the bishop on b7 and getting ready to take on c4. I thought also taking here is quite natural, and then to place some piece on c5, but I wasn't entirely sure, and also didn't really want to take here because I'm kind of bringing his bishop into the play as well. That's why I went queen c8. Now knight takes d7 and knight takes d7. I also thought queen d7 makes sense, but then I didn't like that he at some moment maybe has bishop g5. Wasn't even clear how, but maybe take here. Also, I'm not sure about this pawn, but probably he can never take it because of rook c8, like something like this. And if he takes here, I guess I have rook c8 when he has some problems along this file. But I wasn't sure about things like bishop g5, even though now maybe I can even go d4. So that would have also been an option. But I took with the knight. He took on d5, bishop takes d5, and he took as well, e takes d5 and queen f5. Here I thought that d takes c5 might be a better try for him. I anyway thought that it's probably quite drawish. And after bishop g2, king g2, I thought now knight takes c5. And I was trying to figure out this position. Take here, knight e4, queen b7, king somewhere g1 perhaps, or h2. And now I thought rook c8, and I thought I should be very much okay here. Looks very drawish at least. So he took here, and now we have this famous hanging pawn structure, and my pawn on a4 is more of a strength here, because whenever he takes on c5 after bc5, this pawn on b2 is always a target. He went queen f5, which is very logical, attacking the pawn on d5, and now I went queen b7, which, yeah, here it's again kind of a stylistic choice. I was also thinking about knight f6 for quite a long time, but I thought that he would be quite happy to play this endgame. After queen c8, rook c8, I also thought he would go knight b1. And in general, I thought that I should keep queens on the board here, because now all of a sudden probably white's play will become quite easy. We'll put the knight to c3 and then slowly start pressuring the pawn on d5. Even though here I should also be okay, like c4, and if knight c3 I could even go h6 to stop bishop g5. So maybe he should go bishop g5 himself before. And yeah, some position like this, even if it takes here, knight c3, rook d8 or rook a5, looks also very solid for black. But maybe white can slowly try to prepare e4 like it happened in the game. But I thought it would be smart to keep queens on the board, so queen b7, and anyway he went for the move knight b1. I was calculating quite a long time if he takes here. Now b takes c5, I always want to take with the pawn, because if I take with the piece I will be stuck with this isolated pawn. So b takes c5, and now I was calculating the move knight c4. Now I cannot take here that well because of rook d7. I also thought I don't really want to go d4 yet, because then the knight on c4 will have the nice square. So here I was thinking about knight f6, knight e5, and in general I thought I should have pretty good play here. The pawn on c5 is hanging for now, but I thought I could go d4 here. I can also throw in g6 at some point, maybe even right away. So I thought here I have many options. So he went for knight b1 instead. Now I went c4 because I was worried about the pawn on d5 here. I thought anyway sooner or later I would have to go for that, so I went for it right away. c4, knight c3, and now I went knight f6. In hindsight, maybe the move rook a5, which I also thought about, would be smarter, because after knight f6 he gets to pin my knight and bishop with bishop g5. So that was kind of my idea why rook a5 might be a good idea. And then I wanted to follow it up by rook d8 and knight f8, knight e6. So that might have been a better practical choice, because now white's play will become a bit harder, because he doesn't really have a nice square for his bishop. Rook a5 might have been a better idea. But I went knight f6, bishop g5, rook f d8. I anyway thought that I cannot be worse here, basically, because my counterplay is coming quite fast. But here he played the very nice practical move rook c2. So he's preparing to take here and then to go e4. If he does that right away, then I thought if I take a knight e4, bishop d4, he doesn't have anything, I just want a pawn, and pawn on b2 is hanging as well. But he went rook c2 to prepare all of this. I went b5, which is still a good move, and then he went for this. Takes, and e4, d takes e4, knight takes e4, and now I committed a huge blunder. I went bishop takes d4, missing quite a simple thing actually. So that was a huge blunder, and I'm still quite upset for going there, because until now I played a very good game, and I even saw the other alternatives than taking on d4. The position is still equal here. I thought about two moves. So in general I need to stop white from playing d5. Like if I play a move like bishop e7, if he gets d5, I thought I'm in quite some trouble here, because now this pawn is very strong. So I thought about two moves, the first one being queen d5, the other one being rook d5. I thought both of them should be okay for me, but I just didn't see the issue with bishop takes d4. That was the problem. So queen d5, the whole issue is, whole thing is that now he takes here and won a pawn, but now I get rook d6 and my pieces are very active, and my king is actually quite safe as well. So I thought about queen f4 here and then rook e8, and I thought the position is probably okay. Because my pieces are so active, pawn on d4 is weak, and I have control of the e-file, so could even be, yeah, not comfortable for black, but black is probably not risking much here. So that was the first option which I saw. The second option was to go rook d5, which with a similar idea. Now if he takes here, I thought about the move rook a6. Whoops, I just messed up the layout. I hope it's fine now. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's alright now. Okay, looks good. So I thought about this, rook d5, take, and now the move rook a6. This was the other option I was thinking about, or even rook e8 right away could also be an option. But I thought the rook a6 is a nice move, and then to put the rook again on the e file. And again, I thought I have very, very decent compensation here. But I just didn't see the problem with bishop takes d4. So rook d2, quite obvious, pinning my bishop and rook. And now g6. And here I saw both moves, queen f4 and queen f3, and after both I intended to go queen b6. And after queen f3, queen b6, it works very well. And I think even here white is probably worse, because there's no real way to use this pin. I was thinking about the move rook takes d4 here, takes, and at some point knight f6, but I just thought I have king g7, and some queen endgame like this, I'm just winning because I'm even collecting another pawn on the next move. But the problem was after queen f4, I also thought I can go queen b6 here, but I just simply missed the very simple tactic that he can take here, and after queen d4 there's knight f6. This is the thing I missed here. Otherwise, all of this is working well. I was only calculating not only, but I was thinking about move knight g5, thinking about the move knight c3 here. And after knight g5, I thought I still have bishop f6 here. And after rook d8, takes, queen d8, there is no threat on f7, so I'm probably just winning because knight and bishop and pawn on b2 are hanging. I also saw rook d6 here, which is also very important to think about, but now I thought I can simply take here and the queen is attacked as well. So I saw basically everything here except for the very simple move rook takes d4, which is just winning on the spot because of knight f6. So I realized that after he played queen f4, and then I just went for the desperate move bishop f2, but I'm just a piece down. I have only 2 pawns, and on top of that my king is just in a mating net, so there is nothing left here. Like, the position was so sad, I had to put my queen on f8, otherwise there will be knight h5 followed by queen g7 mate. So I was just fully boxed in here, and just absolutely nothing. And in this position I resigned because rook h7 will come on the next move with checkmate. So very unfortunate game, especially considering the fact that I think I played quite well overall, but just this moment, bishop d4 was just a huge blunder, and I still cannot explain how I missed this very simple move rook takes d4. It's kind of yeah, I have no explanation for it, and as I said, I have many options here, like two good options, rook d5 and queen d5, and after both of them, I'm quite sure that I would have saved the draw basically, or that the game would have ended in a draw. So unlucky day today. In general, yeah, I wasn't already before the game. Somehow I didn't have this fighting spirit today, and somehow felt like I could come under pressure today, which is already not a great sign. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed today's recap. If you did, don't forget to leave like and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, definitely let me know about some feedback about the recaps. Today I implemented the pictures and the names on top of the time, so I hope that the layout is good now. I hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, there are 2 more rounds until the rest day. Today was round 4, and after round 6 there's a rest day, so I think everyone is already looking forward to it, even though the tournament just started. But it's getting quite exhausting already. The weather is not really great. It's raining, it's cold. So yeah, looking forward to the rest day as well. And yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So take care, and see you then.